Greetings, dear wanderer, and welcome to the Sleepy Scientist. I'm thrilled you've joined me tonight for a serene voyage through the ever-shifting tapestry of the sky. Picture yourself drifting on a gentle breeze, gliding among whispering clouds as we unravel the enchanting secrets of weather, those fleeting zephyrs, towering thunderheads, delicate snowflakes, and golden sunlit afternoons that paint the atmosphere's endless moods. This is your invitation to float weightlessly through the heavens, all while nestled cozy in your own tranquil haven. A soft caution, though. This journey is crafted to lull you into restful slumber, but the wonders of weather might just spark your curiosity enough to keep you awake, pondering the dance of cumulonimbus or the swirl of the Coriolis effect under a starry sky. If you find yourself wide-eyed at 3 a.m., marveling at atmospheric whims, you'll at least be richer in wonder. Where are you joining me from, and what hour graces your corner of the world? Midnight's hush, dawn's first light, or a quiet afternoon? Wherever you are, I'm delighted you're here. If this soothing blend of science and serenity speaks to you, please consider leaving a like or subscribing. It helps our little haven grow, inviting more dreamers to drift with us. A gentle reminder, while we'll explore how weather tickles the senses, this is for joy and learning, not medical advice. So, settle in, let your breath slow, and let's embark on this celestial waltz through the skies. Close your eyes, dear traveler, and let your mind drift upward where the air hums with quiet secrets. Tonight, we'll wander through the invisible ocean that cradles our world, the atmosphere, where every gust, raindrop, and fleeting cloud tells a story of motion and mystery. Imagine yourself nestled at the bottom of this vast, swaying sea of gases, as delicate as an apple's skin, yet brimming with life. This is where weather is born, in a restless dance of air and energy. Our journey begins in the troposphere, the lowest layer of this aerial ocean, stretching some 7 miles above us, taller near the equator, shy at the poles. Here, clouds weave their fleeting tapestries, rains cascade, and winds play with reckless abandon. It's a lively stage where the air we breathe, 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and a whisper of water vapor and trace gases, sets the scene for life itself. Less glamorous than a starry night, perhaps, but perfectly tuned for our existence. Above the troposphere lies the stratosphere, home to the ozone layer, Earth's shield against the sun's fiercer rays, glowing like cosmic sunglasses. Climb higher, and the mesosphere sparkles with meteors blazing in fiery streaks. Beyond, the thermosphere hosts auroras and satellites, where temperatures soar to thousands of degrees yet feel no warmth, the air too thin to carry heat. At the outermost edge, the exosphere fades into the cosmic void, where molecules slip silently into space. For now, let's linger in the cozy troposphere, where weather works its magic. Air, like water, flows and swirls, a fluid alive with purpose. Warm air rises, light and buoyant. Cold air sinks, heavy and deliberate. This simple rhythm, warm up, cold down, pulses at the heart of every storm and breeze. The sun's uneven kiss warms the equator more than the poles, land faster than sea, mountains cooler than valleys. These differences stir the air, setting it in motion as nature seeks balance, a quest as eternal as the tides. Picture a sun-warmed meadow. The air above it lifts, cooling as it rises, coaxing moisture into delicate droplets that form clouds. Cooler air rushes in to fill the void, creating a gentle cycle of convection, like bubbles in a simmering pot. Meanwhile, the weight of the air, some 14 pounds per square inch at sea level, presses softly, a constant embrace we barely notice. This atmospheric pressure shifts with altitude and weather, shaping the winds that carry clouds across the sky. And as Earth spins over 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, the Coriolis effect twirls these winds, curving them right in the north, left in the south, a silent choreography of physics. This restless, swirling atmosphere, alive with nitrogen, oxygen, and the promise of rain, is never still. It's a symphony of balance, played without a conductor, where every note is a breeze, a cloud, a moment of wonder waiting to unfold. Settle deeper, dear dreamer, as we glide through the unseen currents of the sky, where the air hums with restless energy, forever chasing balance. The weather, that grand storyteller, spins its tales through the ceaseless dance of temperature, pressure, and motion. Let's linger here, in the troposphere's embrace, and uncover the elegant principles that orchestrate every breeze, every storm, every fleeting whisper of the atmosphere. Picture the air as a fluid as an ocean, swirling and tumbling in response to the sun's uneven caress. Warm air, light as a sigh, rises skyward, while cooler, denser air sinks heavy with purpose. This simple waltz, warm air up, cold air down, forms the heartbeat of weather. The sun, our cosmic artist, paints the earth with light, warming the equator more fiercely than the poles, land quicker than seas, valleys softer than peaks. These contrasts birth pockets of heat and chill, setting the stage for nature's grand pursuit of equilibrium. Imagine a sunlit field, the ground drinking in warmth. The air above it lifts, cooling as it climbs, its moisture condensing into delicate clouds. Below, cooler air sweeps in, a quiet convection that mirrors bubbles rising in a gentle simmer. This dance is driven by pressure too, the weight of air pressing down, some 14 pounds per square inch at sea level, like a soft, invisible quilt. High-pressure systems, calm and clear, coax air downward, shooing clouds away. Low-pressure zones, lively and restless, pull air upward, inviting rain and storms. The difference between these realms births wind, air rushing from high to low, tidying the atmosphere's imbalances with a flourish. Yet, Earth's spin adds a twist to this tale. At over 1,000 miles an hour near the equator, the planet's rotation nudges moving air, the Coriolis effect, curving it right in the northern hemisphere, left in the southern. It's no magic, just physics weaving patterns across the globe, shaping winds into graceful arcs. Add the terrain's contours, mountains, valleys, oceans, and the time of day, and the atmosphere becomes a symphony of constant motion. Even on a still, cloudless afternoon, invisible currents swirl, humidity shifts, and temperature gradients weave their quiet magic. This ever-shifting system, driven by sunlight, gravity, and the laws of thermodynamics, needs no conductor. Heat seeks cooler realms, pressure yearns to equalize, and water evaporates only to fall and rise again. Weather emerges from this restless quest, a ballet choreographed by Earth's spin and the sun's distant glow. Every gust, every cloud, every raindrop is a note in this endless melody, a reminder that our planet is alive, wrapped in warm gases, twirling through space. As you rest, let these currents carry your thoughts, soft as a breeze, vast as the sky, forever seeking balance in a world that never stands still. Drift deeper, gentle wanderer, as we soar through the shimmering currents of the sky, where the sun's golden touch and the ocean's deep embrace weave the grand tapestry of weather. This is no mere backdrop, but a vibrant ballet driven by the radiant energy of a star 93 million miles away and the restless pulse of Earth's vast seas. Let's linger here, cradled in the troposphere's warmth, and unravel the celestial choreography that shapes every cloud, breeze, and storm. The sun, our planet's tireless maestro, conducts this atmospheric symphony with beams of electromagnetic radiance. Its light kisses the earth, warming land, sea, and stone, not the air directly, but the surfaces below which radiate heat upward like a stovetop warming a room. This uneven caress is the spark of weather's dance. The equator basks in direct sunlight, soaking up energy, while the poles receive a slanted, gentler glow. Land heats swiftly, oceans linger in their warmth, and mountains stand cooler than valleys. These contrasts create a world of imbalance, and nature, ever the perfectionist, seeks to smooth it out. Picture a tropical shore, sun-drenched and shimmering. The air above rises, buoyant and warm, leaving a pocket of low pressure. Cooler air from nearby seas rushes in, spiraling upward as it warms, carrying moisture that may soon form clouds. Farther north or south, where sunlight falls at an angle, the air stays cooler, sinking to create high-pressure zones. This ceaseless cycle, warm air rising, cool air sinking, drives vast convection cells, the atmosphere's invisible engines. In each hemisphere, 3 such cells weave their magic: the Hadley cell near the equator, the Ferrel cell in the mid-latitudes, and the polar cell at the extremes. Together they form a planetary conveyor belt, ferrying heat from sun-soaked tropics to icy poles. These cells birth the winds that have shaped human history. Near the equator, the trade winds blow steady from east to west, once guiding explorers' sails across uncharted seas, sometimes to new worlds, sometimes by happy accident. In the mid-latitudes, the westerlies sweep from west to east, nudging storms across continents, sculpting the weather of North America and Europe. At the poles, the polar easterlies carry frigid breaths from Arctic and Antarctic realms, chilling the edges of our world. Yet Earth's spin, a dizzying 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, adds a flourish. The Coriolis effect, born of this rotation, twists these winds, curving them right in the northern hemisphere, left in the southern, crafting patterns as elegant as a dancer's arc. High above, the jet streams, ribbons of wind, racing at 200 miles an hour, weave another layer of this story. These atmospheric rivers, born where warm and cold air clash, steer weather systems like cosmic shepherds. The polar jet stream, snaking between chilly polar air and milder mid-latitude breezes, can plunge south to bring cold snaps or soar north to usher in warmth. Its whims decide whether storms linger or race across the sky, and pilots know its power, riding its tailwinds to shave hours off flights or battling its resistance on return journeys. But the Earth's tilt, 23.5 degrees, precise and profound, adds seasons to this tale. As our planet orbits the sun, this tilt shifts the sunlight's focus. Summer bathes the northern hemisphere when it leans toward the sun, days stretching long and warm. 6 months later, winter cloaks it in chill as the southern hemisphere takes its turn in the light. Spring and autumn balance the scales, equalizing sunlight across the globe. These shifts ripple through wind patterns, storm tracks, and ocean currents, ensuring no season is ever quite the same. And oh, the oceans, those vast blue keepers of Earth's thermal secrets. Covering over 70% of the planet, they are nature's batteries, absorbing the sun's energy and releasing it slowly. Water warms lazily compared to land, but holds its heat longer, softening coastal climates. The Gulf Stream, a warm river in the Atlantic, bathes Western Europe in milder winters, while the Kuroshio Current tempers Japan's shores. These currents, like the atmosphere's winds, carry warmth from equator to poles, knitting the planet's climate together. When oceans shift, El Niño warming the Pacific or La Niña cooling it, global weather dances to a new rhythm, bringing floods to one region, droughts to another. This intricate waltz, sunlight heating the earth, air rising and falling, oceans storing and sharing energy, creates a planet where no 2 days mirror each other. From the trade wind's steady hum to the jet stream's wild rush, from the equator's sultry embrace to the pole's icy breath, weather is a story of motion and balance. As you rest, imagine yourself adrift in this grand ballet, carried by winds, shaped by a spinning earth, warmed by a distant star, and cradled by oceans that whisper of faraway shores. Every raindrop on your window, every breeze against your cheek, is a note in this cosmic symphony, played across a stage that never stills, forever seeking harmony in its restless, radiant heart. Settle in, dear stargazer, and let your thoughts drift like mist across a quiet valley. We're about to embark on a tender exploration of the atmosphere's secret muse, moisture. It's the invisible artist behind every cloud, every raindrop, every snowflake that dusts the earth in silence, often unnoticed until it frizzles your hair or fogs your glasses. Water in the air is the heartbeat of weather's most poetic moments, crafting clouds, storms, and rainbows with a whisper of alchemy. Let's float through this delicate dance where air and water weave wonders above our heads, Moisture begins its story as water vapor, an ethereal presence in the air we breathe. It's water in its gaseous form, elusive yet ever-present, its abundance tied to the air's warmth. Warm air cradles more vapor like a generous host, while cold air is stingier, holding less. This is why summer days hum with sticky humidity, while winter's chill feels crisp and dry. Meteorologists speak of humidity in two tongues: absolute humidity, the raw measure of water vapor in a cubic breath of air, and relative humidity, a percentage that reveals how close the air is to saturation. At 100% relative humidity, the air is brimming, unable to hold more, and condensation begins, birthing dew, fog, or the softest wisps of cloud. Picture a sun-warmed lake, its surface shimmering. Heat coaxes water molecules skyward, transforming liquid into vapor through evaporation. This vapor rises with the warm air, buoyant and light, until it meets cooler heights. As the air expands in the lower pressure aloft, it cools, and cooler air can't cling to as much moisture. The excess vapor condenses, gathering around tiny specks, dust, pollen, or salt, called cloud condensation nuclei. These microscopic seeds are the canvas for clouds where billions of droplets or ice crystals form, each so small it takes a million to craft a single raindrop. Clouds, those fleeting sky sculptures, come in endless varieties, each a reflection of the air's mood. Gentle, slow-rising air weaves stratus clouds, flat and grey, draping the sky like a melancholy quilt. Swift, buoyant updrafts birth cumulus clouds, puffy and bright, like cotton balls adrift on a summer day. When conditions turn wild with moisture and instability in abundance, these cumulus towers soar into cumulonimbus giants, the storm bringers stretching miles high, heavy with rain, hail, or lightning's spark. High above, cirrus clouds feather the sky with icy wisps, hinting at approaching fronts, while lenticular clouds, shaped like saucers over mountains, hover with eerie grace. Each cloud is a story written in droplets and ice, shaped by temperature, motion, and time. But clouds don't always rush to rain. For precipitation to fall, droplets must grow heavy, colliding and merging in a process called coalescence, until they're large enough to defy the air's resistance. A raindrop, typically 2 millimeters wide, plummets earthward, flattened into a bun-like shape by the rush of air, not the teardrop of storybooks. In colder realms where clouds cradle ice crystals, snowflakes form, each a unique lattice of frozen water, sculpted by temperature and humidity into stars, needles, or plates. No two are truly identical, a marvel of nature's infinite variety, though with quintillions falling each winter, some must come close. When snowflakes meet a warm layer on their descent, they may partially melt into sleet, refreezing into tiny ice pellets that crunch underfoot. Freezing rain, more treacherous, falls as liquid through a shallow, cold layer near the ground, freezing instantly on contact with chilled surfaces, coating trees, roads, and wires in a glistening, hazardous sheen. Hail, born in the violent updrafts of thunderstorms, grows as ice pellets loop through freezing clouds, gathering layers like a snowball until they tumble, sometimes as large as golf balls, best admired from a safe indoors. Moisture's magic extends beyond the sky. On cool, calm mornings, dew sparkles on grass as water vapor condenses directly onto surfaces chilled by the night's radiative cooling. When temperatures dip below freezing, this dew becomes frost, etching windows and leaves with intricate, icy patterns, nature's delicate artwork. The water cycle binds these moments, an eternal rhythm of evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. Oceans, lakes, and rivers release vapor to the sky, which falls as rain or snow, flowing back to the seas to begin anew, a cycle older than the mountains, vital to every living thing. Fronts, where air masses of differing warmth and moisture collide, add drama to this tale. When warm, moist air meets cooler air, it rises, cooling and condensing into clouds that often bring rain. These boundaries are the spark for many a storm, shifting the sky's mood in moments. So as you gaze upward and see a cloud drifting lazily or feel a raindrop's kiss, know you're witnessing a grand, invisible ballet. Every droplet, every wisp of fog, every snowflake is a fleeting note in a symphony of moisture and motion played across the vast stage of the atmosphere, forever painting the sky with wonder. Nestle closer, dear dreamer, as we drift into the electric heart of the sky, where the atmosphere throws its wildest celebrations, thunderstorms. These are nature's grand spectacles, bursting with rumbling thunder, dazzling lightning, and torrents of rain that dance across the earth. Sometimes they toss hail like confetti or whip up winds that howl with untamed glee. Yet beneath their drama lies a simple recipe of air, water, and a spark of electrical magic, a weather cocktail served with a thunderous flourish. Let's glide through this tempestuous tale, where the sky releases its pent-up energy in flashes of awe. Thunderstorms begin with a humble breath of warm, moist air, kissed by the sun's heat on a sultry afternoon. Imagine a field baking under a summer sky, the ground radiating warmth. The air above grows buoyant, rising swiftly into cooler realms above. This ascent, called an updraft, is the storm's first heartbeat. As the air climbs, it expands in the thinning pressure, cooling as it goes. If laden with moisture, it reaches its dew point. The moment water vapor condenses into tiny droplets, releasing latent heat that fuels the updraft further. It's as if the air straps on rockets, soaring higher, building clouds that swell from innocent cumulus puffs to towering cumulonimbus giants, stretching 10 miles into the sky, higher than Everest's peak. Inside these cloud colossi, chaos brews. Updrafts shove warm, moist air skyward, while gravity tugs cooler air and falling droplets downward in downdrafts. This swirling duel of rising and falling air drives the storm's engine. Thunderstorms unfold in 3 acts: the cumulus stage, where clouds grow in quiet ambition; the mature stage, a riot of rain, lightning, and thunder as updrafts and downdrafts clash; and the dissipating stage, where downdrafts dominate, cooling the surface and starving the storm of its warm fuel until it sighs into silence. Lightning, the storm's dazzling centerpiece, is nature's way of balancing electrical charges with theatrical flair. As droplets and ice crystals churn within the cloud, they collide, trading charges like cosmic bartering. Lighter ice particles, positively charged, drift to the cloud's crown, while heavier, negatively charged hail sinks below. This separation builds a voltage of millions of volts between cloud and ground, cloud and cloud, all within a single storm. When the air can resist no longer, a discharge erupts. A faint, zigzagging path of charged particles, called a step leader, snakes downward. Near the ground, a streamer rises to meet it, and their connection unleashes a brilliant surge of light, lightning. The air in its path heats to 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 times hotter than the sun's surface, expanding explosively to birth thunder's resonant growl. Light travels faster than sound, so lightning's flash precedes thunder's rumble. To gauge a strike's distance, count the seconds between flash and boom, then divide by 5 for miles. A 10-second gap means the lightning is 2 miles away. Lightning wears many forms. Cloud-to-ground bolts, the most perilous, can spark wildfires or strike unwary golfers. Intra-cloud flashes dance within a single cloud. Cloud-to-cloud arcs leap like daredevils between storms. Rarer still are ball lightning's glowing orbs, a mystery to science or sprites. Red, jellyfish-like bursts high above storms, once thought to be pilots' fancies, but now known as real. Hail, another of the storm's gifts, forms in the fierce updrafts of cumulonimbus clouds. Tiny ice pellets caught in a turbulent loop collect layers of supercooled water that freeze on contact. Each cycle adds bulk, like a snowball rolled through snow, until the hailstone grows too heavy and plummets. Sizes range from peas to grapefruits, though the latter is mercifully rare. A golf ball-sized hailstone is no metaphor. It's a reality best dodged indoors. Winds, too, join the fray as downdrafts slam air earthward, spreading as gusty downbursts that can mimic tornadoes' wrath, toppling trees or rattling roofs. Speaking of tornadoes, the mightiest thunderstorms, supercells, can birth these whirling titans. Supercells, marked by a rotating updraft called a mesocyclone, form when wind shear spins air horizontally, then tilts it vertical. If conditions align, low pressure, ample moisture, a touch of terrain's nudge, a funnel cloud may descend. When it touches ground, it becomes a tornado, a fleeting but ferocious vortex. Most thunderstorms, though, are humbler, forming in clusters along cold fronts or as single cells that flare and fade. Gust fronts, the cool leading edge of a storm's downdraft, can even trigger new storms like a chain reaction rippling across the sky. At any moment, some 2,000 thunderstorms rumble across Earth, a reminder of the atmosphere's vibrant pulse. As you lie in your cozy haven, the sky elsewhere crackles with energy, each storm a fleeting outburst in nature's quest for balance. So, when lightning splits the night or thunder rolls like a distant drum, know it's the sky exhaling its tension, one electric breath at a time. Let these storms lull you, their flashes a fleeting dream, their rumbles a soothing echo of the atmosphere's wild, wondrous heart. Sink deeper into your cozy nook, dear wanderer, as we venture into the sky's most tempestuous theatre, where the atmosphere unleashes its grandest spectacles, tornadoes and hurricanes. These are the headliners of Earth's meteorological stage, swirling juggernauts of air and water that carve paths through landscapes and rewrite coastlines with raw, breathtaking power. They roar with fury, yet beneath their chaos lies the same elegant physics: air, moisture, pressure, and motion, cranked to a crescendo. Let's drift through this wild saga where the sky's mightiest stories unfold in spirals of awe and wonder. Tornadoes, those fleeting whirlwinds, are nature's most intense dancers, spinning columns of air that stretch from a thunderstorm's heart to the ground. Born in moments, they can rage with winds exceeding 300 miles per hour, faster than a race car, fiercer than any earthly rival. Their birthplace is often a supercell, a thunderstorm with a rotating updraft called a mesocyclone. This rotation begins with wind shear, where winds at different heights blow in opposing directions, rolling the air horizontally like a spinning log. A supercell's powerful updraft tilts this roll upright, crafting a vertical vortex. If the air tightens and stretches downward, a funnel cloud forms. When it kisses the earth, a tornado is born. This delicate alchemy requires precise conditions: moisture, instability, a nudge of terrain, making tornadoes as capricious as they are fierce. Most tornadoes are brief, lasting mere minutes, and modest, rated EF0 or EF1 on the enhanced Fujita scale, snapping branches or scattering debris. But the rare giants, EF4s or EF5s, unleash devastation, flattening homes and hurling cars like toys. Tornado Alley, stretching from Texas through Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska, is their favored stage, where warm, moist Gulf air collides with cold, dry currents from the Rockies under wide-open skies. Yet tornadoes are not bound to this heartland. They spin across every continent save Antarctica, from Florida's waterspouts to the UK's milder twisters, each a testament to the atmosphere's restless energy. Hurricanes, by contrast, are the sky's slow-moving titans, vast rotating systems born over warm ocean waters, spanning hundreds of miles and lingering for days or weeks. Known as cyclones or typhoons elsewhere, they demand a trifecta of conditions: ocean waters at least 79 degrees Fahrenheit deep, a cluster of thunderstorms to spark them, and low wind shear to let them grow. Warm seas evaporate, feeding moist air into the storm. As this air rises and cools, it condenses, releasing latent heat that fuels the spiral. The Coriolis effect, Earth's spin, sets the air twirling counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere, clockwise in the southern, forming a low-pressure center. If winds reach 74 miles per hour, a hurricane is christened, a colossus of wind and rain. A hurricane's anatomy is a marvel. At its heart lies the eye, a serene oasis of calm skies and light winds, ringed by the eye wall, a towering wall of thunderstorms packing the fiercest gusts and heaviest rains. Beyond, spiraling rain bands stretch outward, drenching vast regions. The Saffir-Simpson scale ranks hurricanes from Category 1 with winds of 74 to 95 miles per hour, to Category 5, exceeding 157 miles per hour, capable of razing communities. Yet wind is only part of the peril. Storm surges, walls of seawater pushed ashore, can flood coastlines, while torrential rains, sometimes over 2 feet, trigger landslides and inland floods. Hurricanes like Harvey or Florence have shown how rain, not wind, can be the deadliest force, soaking regions far beyond the coast. Despite their wrath, hurricanes serve a cosmic purpose, redistributing heat from the tropics toward the poles, balancing Earth's thermal scales. Satellites and models track their paths, offering days of warning, unlike tornadoes' fleeting notice. Yet their size makes them unstoppable. Preparation is the only defense. When hurricanes drift over land or cooler waters, their warm fuel wanes and they unravel, leaving rain-soaked memories and landscapes to rebuild. Both tornadoes and hurricanes, for all their terror, are natural symphonies of imbalance. Tornadoes erupt from the clash of warm and cold air, a sudden release of atmospheric tension. Hurricanes grow from the ocean's warmth, spiraling to equalize the planet's heat. Neither is a freak event, but a vibrant note in the atmosphere's endless song. Tornadoes, with their knife-sharp precision, and hurricanes, with their sprawling grandeur, remind us of the sky's dual nature, beautiful and fearsome, delicate and mighty. As you rest, imagine the distant roar of a hurricane's eye wall or the fleeting whirl of a tornado's funnel. Picture the air spinning, driven by the same forces that rustle leaves or carry a summer breeze. These tempests, born of sunlight and moisture, are Earth's wildest stories, etched in wind and water. They reshape the world from a single uprooted tree to a coast redrawn by waves. So let the thought of these storms lull you, their power, a reminder of the sky's living pulse, their fleeting fury, a whisper of the planet's ceaseless dance, forever seeking balance in a restless, radiant world. Settle deeper, dear wayfarer, as we glide on the invisible wings of the wind, the atmosphere's restless sculptor, shaping our world with a touch both gentle and fierce. Wind is the sky's silent poet, rustling through your hair, dancing leaves across quiet paths, or, with a mischievous grin, flipping your umbrella inside out. It's playful, wild, nurturing, and sometimes destructive, a ceaseless current of air that refuses to rest. Let's drift through this unseen symphony where every gust tells a story of pressure, motion, and the Earth's eternal spin. At its core, wind is born of difference, high pressure pushing air toward low, like water flowing down a hill. The greater the contrast, the mightier the breeze, as nature seeks to tidy its imbalances. Yet the Earth's rotation, spinning over 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, adds a graceful twist. The Coriolis effect, that subtle nudge of physics, bends winds right in the northern hemisphere and left in the southern, crafting curves that paint the sky's patterns. Imagine air as a restless traveler, forever moving from the weight of high pressure to the openness of low, guided by the planet's whirl into elegant arcs. On a grand scale, wind weaves Earth's great circulatory tapestry. Near the equator, where sunlight pours fiercely, warm air rises, creating a low-pressure band. This air ascends, spreads poleward, and sinks around 30 degrees latitude, forming high-pressure zones. From these, the trade winds flow east to west, steady and reliable, once carrying sailors across oceans to new worlds or unexpected shores. In the mid-latitudes, between 30 degrees and 60 degrees, the westerlies sweep west to east, herding storms across North America and Europe, shaping the weather we know. Near the poles, the polar easterlies carry frigid air from icy realms, whispering of Arctic and Antarctic chill. These global wind belts, paired with jet streams, those high-altitude rivers racing at 200 miles an hour, form a planetary dance, steering weather like a cosmic choreographer. Yet wind is as local as it is global, sculpted by the land itself. Picture a sunlit coast, land warms faster than sea, and the air above rises, drawing cooler ocean air inland as a sea breeze, soft and refreshing. At night, the land cools swiftly, reversing the flow. A land breeze drifts seaward. In mountains, daytime heat lifts air up slopes in anabatic winds, while nighttime's chill sends dense air cascading down as katabatic winds, sometimes fierce enough to rattle valley towns. The Mistral in southern France, a cold, dry gust roaring down the Rhône Valley, shapes local climate and architecture with homes built to turn their backs to its force. In California, the Santa Ana winds, hot and dry, sweep from desert to coast, fanning wildfires with a breath both awe-inspiring and dreaded. Some winds carry names and legends. The Chinook, a snow-eater along the Rockies' eastern slopes, descends warm and dry, melting winter's grip in hours, raising temperatures by 40 degrees Fahrenheit in a single gust, a natural hairdryer for the plains. Others, like microbursts, strike suddenly, born in thunderstorms' downdrafts, slamming air earthward with enough force to topple trees or challenge aircraft. Dust devils, those whimsical mini-whirlwinds, twirl across deserts on hot, dry days, spinning harmless columns of sand and air, more playful than perilous. Yet gales and cyclones, born of intense low-pressure systems, roar with winds exceeding 39 miles an hour, bending trees, stirring seas, and reminding us of wind's raw power. Wind is more than motion, it's a shaper of worlds. It carries moisture to parched lands, spreads seeds across fields, and sculpts dunes in deserts or drifts in the Arctic. It powers sailboats to distant shores and turbines for clean energy, turning invisible force into light and warmth. Wind also tempers our days. On a sweltering afternoon, a breeze feels like salvation. In winter, it bites through coats, its chill amplified by wind chill, a measure of how swiftly it steals heat from skin. A 20-degree Fahrenheit day with a 15-mile-an-hour gust feels like 5 degrees Fahrenheit, a reminder of wind's subtle sting. This invisible force, governed by pressure gradients, topography, and Earth's spin, speaks a language both chaotic and precise. It's the rustle of leaves on a quiet evening, the howl of a storm tearing through the night. It erodes mountains into sand, carries pollen to distant blooms, and whispers of far-off places. As you rest, imagine the wind's silent presence, brushing your cheek or swaying trees beyond your window. It's the atmosphere's living breath, forever moving, reshaping the world with every gust. Let its soft hum carry you, a gentle reminder that the sky is alive, weaving stories of motion and balance, sculpted by forces as old as the earth itself, yet as fleeting as a sigh. Slip deeper into your tranquil haven, dear wanderer, as we drift into the quiet embrace of winter's weather, where the sky cloaks the world in frost, snow, and the crystalline hush of cold. Winter is the season of stillness, yet its atmosphere hums with delicate wonders, snowflakes crafting silent symphonies, ice glazing the earth in shimmering sheets, and winds that bite with a chill as sharp as starlight. Let's wander through this frozen gallery where moisture and cold weave a tapestry of beauty and peril, each moment a whisper of the planet's icy breath. Winter's magic begins when temperatures plunge, coaxing water vapor into forms both fleeting and intricate. Snow, the season's signature, forms high in clouds where the air dips below freezing. Water vapor, bypassing liquid, transforms directly into ice crystals through deposition, each crystal a tiny prism shaped by temperature and humidity. At warmer edges near 32 degrees Fahrenheit, snowflakes grow as broad, starry plates. In deeper cold, they form slender needles or delicate ferns. No two are truly identical, though with quintillions blanketing the earth each winter, some must flirt with similarity. These crystals drift earthward, piling into drifts that soften landscapes, muffling sound in a hush that feels like the world holding its breath. When snowflakes encounter a warm layer during their descent, they may partially melt, refreezing into sleet, tiny ice pellets that tap against windows like impatient visitors. More treacherous is freezing rain, born when snow melts into droplets in a warm mid-layer, then falls through a shallow, cold pocket near the ground. These supercooled drops freeze instantly on contact, coating trees, roads, and power lines in a glassy sheen. This ice, heavy and unyielding, can snap branches or turn paths into skating rinks, beautiful yet perilous, transforming a forest into a crystal cathedral under moonlight. Frost, winter's quieter artist, paints with subtler strokes. On clear, calm nights, surfaces like grass or windshields lose heat to the sky through radiative cooling, dipping below the air's dew point. Water vapor condenses directly as ice, etching intricate patterns, feathery ferns or jagged stars that vanish with the morning sun. Hoarfrost, its bolder cousin, forms when vapor deposits in thicker layers, adorning branches and fences with fluffy, crystalline spikes like nature's own tinsel. These delicate displays, born of cold and stillness, are winter's whispered poetry, fleeting as a breath in the frosty air. Sleet, freezing rain, and frost often cluster along weather fronts where warm and cold air collide. A warm front, sliding over colder air, can trap moisture in a chilled layer, spawning sleet or freezing rain. Cold fronts, by contrast, shove warm air upward, cooling it rapidly to birth snow-heavy clouds. These frontal clashes fuel winter storms where blizzards roar with winds over 35 miles per hour, reducing visibility to near zero in swirling whiteouts. Snow squalls, their briefer cousins, sweep in suddenly, blanketing roads in minutes, catching travelers off guard with their fleeting fury. Wind chill adds a sharper edge to winter's bite. It's not just the thermometer's reading, but how cold the wind makes you feel, stealing heat from skin faster than still air. A 20-degree Fahrenheit day with a 20-mile-an-hour gust feels like 0 degrees Fahrenheit, a reminder to bundle tight. In extreme cold, frostbite threatens exposed skin in minutes, turning a brisk walk into a race for warmth. Blizzards amplify this danger, combining heavy snow, howling winds, and plummeting wind chill to create conditions where even the hardiest pause. Ice fog, a rare winter gem, forms when water vapor, in frigid air, below -20 degrees Fahrenheit, crystallizes into a shimmering mist, scattering light in a ghostly glow. Common in Arctic valleys or mountain hollows, it lingers where cold air pools, creating a dreamlike veil. Lake effect snow, another winter marvel, erupts when cold air sweeps over warmer lakes, like the Great Lakes, soaking up moisture and dumping feet of snow on downwind shores. Places like Buffalo, New York, know this phenomenon well, where a single storm can bury neighborhoods in a day, sculpting a world of white. Winter's weather, for all its chill, is a vital thread in Earth's tapestry. Snow insulates crops, protects soil, and feeds rivers come spring. Yet its hazards demand respect. Black ice on roads, heavy snow collapsing roofs, or power outages from ice-laden lines. Modern forecasts, blending radar, satellites, and models, give days' warning, helping communities brace for the worst. Still, winter's whims remain untamed, a reminder of nature's power to both enchant and challenge. As you rest, picture a snowflake's slow descent, each facet catching starlight, or the glint of frost on a frozen pane. Imagine the wind's icy whisper, carrying tales of distant tundras. Winter's weather is a fleeting art, painted in ice and snow, shaped by the same forces that stir summer breezes, moisture, temperature, and motion in a delicate dance. Let these frosty visions lull you, their quiet beauty a reminder that even in the coldest moments, the atmosphere sings, crafting stories of crystal and wind that blanket the world in wonder. Curl up closer, gentle dreamer, as we slip into the quiet embrace of the atmosphere's softest veil. Fog. This is no roaring storm or blazing sun, but a delicate whisper of the sky, a cloud that has wandered too close to the earth. Fog is the world's hush, dimming horizons, muffling sounds, and wrapping landscapes in a dreamlike shroud. It's as if the air itself pauses, exhaling a misty breath that blurs the line between earth and sky. Let's drift through this ethereal realm, where moisture and stillness weave a tapestry of mystery and calm. Fog forms when the air grows heavy with water vapor, teetering on the edge of condensation. It's a delicate dance of temperature and humidity, where the air cools to its dew point. The moment vapor transforms into tiny droplets, suspended like a billion miniature prisms. These droplets, smaller than a pin's head, scatter light, cloaking the world in a soft, grey haze. Fog needs stillness too, gentle winds or calm nights, lest stronger gusts sweep the droplets away. It's a phenomenon of balance, born when warmth meets cold, moisture meets calm, in a quiet conspiracy of nature. Picture a cool autumn morning, the ground still warm from yesterday's sun. As night falls, the earth radiates heat skyward, chilling the air above. If the air is moist and the night calm, water vapor condenses near the ground, weaving radiation fog, a classic veil that blankets valleys and meadows. This fog, thickest at dawn, often burns off as the sun rises, warming the air and dissolving the droplets back into vapor. It's the fog of quiet country lanes where headlights pierce a milky void and the world feels like a secret waiting to be uncovered. Advection fog, another of nature's misty moods, forms when moist air glides over a cooler surface, land, sea, or snow. Imagine warm, humid air drifting across a chilly ocean current, like the cold waters off San Francisco. The air cools, its moisture condensing into fog that rolls inland, cloaking the Golden Gate Bridge in a ghostly embrace. This is the fog of coastal cities, where ships sound their horns through the haze, and the world shrinks to a few soft steps ahead. Upslope fog tells a different tale, born when moist air is pushed up a mountain's flank. As it rises, the air expands in lower pressure, cooling until droplets form. This fog drapes high ridges, turning hikes into journeys through a clouded dreamscape where trees loom like shadows and every sound feels close. Steam fog, rarer still, rises from warm lakes or rivers on frigid mornings as water's heat releases vapor into cold air, creating wisps that dance like spirits over the surface, a fleeting, otherworldly sight. Ice fog, a crystalline cousin, sparkles in the Arctic's deep cold, below -20 degrees Fahrenheit, where water vapor freezes into tiny ice crystals that glitter in the air. Found in polar valleys or Siberian plains, it scatters light in a diamond dust glow, a winter fog as delicate as frost. Each type of fog, radiation, advection, upslope, steam, or ice, reflects the land's contours and the air's mood, shaped by temperature, moisture, and the gentle hand of calm. Fog transforms the world in subtle ways. It muffles sound, making footsteps echo strangely and voices carry softly as if the air itself is listening. Visibility drops, sometimes to mere feet, turning familiar streets into labyrinths of shadow. Mariners and pilots know fog's perils. Ships creep through harbors, guided by radar, while airports pause, waiting for the haze to lift. Yet fog also nurtures, trapping moisture to water plants in dry coastal regions like California's redwoods, which drink from the mist. It's a quiet caretaker, softening the earth's edges with its damp caress. In literature and lore, fog is a storyteller's muse, cloaking mysteries, hiding secrets, or setting the stage for quiet reflection. Think of London's pea supers, thick with coal smoke in Dickens' day, or the fog that shrouds Sherlock Holmes's gaslit streets. Today's cleaner air still weaves fog's magic, from San Francisco's summer mists to the Appalachian hollows draped in autumn haze. It's a reminder that the atmosphere is alive, even in its quietest moments, painting the world with moisture's gentle brush. Fog's fleeting nature makes it all the more enchanting. A morning's mist may vanish by noon, burned away by sunlight or stirred by a waking breeze, yet, in its brief reign, it reshapes how we see the world, blurring boundaries, softening sharp lines, and inviting us to pause. As you rest, imagine stepping into a fog-draped field where the air feels cool and damp and the horizon fades into a dream. Each droplet, suspended in stillness, is a tiny mirror of the sky, reflecting the atmosphere's endless dance of moisture and calm. Let this misty veil lull you, its quiet beauty a reminder that even in the softest moments, the air is alive, weaving stories of water and wonder at the earth's gentle feet. Nestle deeper, dear dreamer, as we wander into a quieter, slower chapter of the sky's vast story, where the atmosphere holds its breath, heavy with heat or parched by absence. Here we explore the silent dramas of heat waves and droughts, weather that arrives not with a roar, but with a relentless creeping presence. Unlike the fleeting fury of storms or the delicate dance of fog, these phenomena linger, reshaping landscapes, testing resilience, and whispering of the planet's delicate balance. Let's drift through this arid tale where the sun reigns supreme and the air grows still, weaving a narrative of warmth and want. Heat waves, those sultry invaders, blanket the world when high-pressure systems settle in like unyielding guests. Imagine a summer day stretched taut, the sky a cloudless dome of blue, the sun blazing without pause. A high-pressure ridge, often called a heat dome, traps warm air beneath it, blocking cooler air and clouds from breaking through. The ground bakes, radiating heat upward, and the air grows heavier, hotter day after day. Temperatures soar 10, 20, even 30 degrees Fahrenheit above normal, turning cities into ovens and fields into crackling expanses. The urban heat island effect amplifies this as concrete and asphalt soak up sunlight, making nights as stifling as days. In a heatwave's grip, the world slows. Sweat beads on skin, fans hum tirelessly, and air conditioners strain under the load. Crops wilt, rivers shrink, and energy grids teeter as demand spikes. Heat is a silent stressor, sapping strength and patience, especially for the vulnerable, children, the elderly, or those without cooling's refuge. In extreme cases like Europe's 2003 heatwave or Australia's scorching summers, thousands succumb, a stark reminder of heat's hidden danger. Yet the atmosphere offers no drama, just a relentless, shimmering weight, as if the sky itself is pressing down. Drought, heat's quieter companion, is absence made tangible, a lack of rain that stretches weeks, months, or years. It begins when precipitation falters, often tied to shifting weather patterns like a stubborn high-pressure system or a wayward jet stream. The land dries, soil hardens, and rivers dwindle to trickles. Unlike a storm's sudden wrath, drought creeps in, its impact deepening with time. Crops fail, dust rises, and communities ration water, their wells and reservoirs echoing with emptiness. In places like California's Central Valley or Africa's Sahel, drought reshapes economies and lives, forcing migrations or sparking conflicts over dwindling resources. The causes of drought are as varied as the winds. El Niño and La Niña, those oceanic siblings, shift rainfall patterns, starving some regions while flooding others. A weakened monsoon in South Asia or a stalled weather front in the Midwest can tip the balance, leaving fields parched. Climate change, with its warming touch, intensifies these dry spells, evaporating moisture faster and stretching rainless seasons. Deforestation and overfarming strip the land's ability to retain water, turning fertile plains into cracked wastelands. Yet drought is not just nature's doing. Human choices, from water overuse to poor land management, amplify its sting. Drought's effects ripple far beyond the soil. Ecosystems falter as plants wither and animals flee or perish. Wildfires, fueled by dry brush and fanned by hot winds, flare with terrifying ease, as seen in Australia's Black Summer or the American West's megafires. Economies stagger. Agriculture, reliant on rain, loses billions, while water shortages drive up prices and strain cities. In extreme cases, like the Horn of Africa's famines, drought becomes a humanitarian crisis, etching hunger and hardship into communities already stretched thin. Yet, even in its silence, drought reshapes the world, a slow sculptor carving absence into the earth. Heat waves and droughts, though quiet, are intertwined with the atmosphere's larger dance. High-pressure systems that birth heat waves often starve regions of rain, linking the two in a cycle of extremes. Climate change, driven by greenhouse gases, tilts the scales, making heat waves more frequent and droughts more severe. A warmer atmosphere holds more moisture, but when rain doesn't fall, it fuels fiercer storms elsewhere, leaving dry regions even drier. This paradox, more water in the air yet less on the ground, defines our shifting climate, where extremes of wet and dry grow sharper. Mitigating these silent giants requires foresight. Heatwave warnings, improved urban planning with green spaces, and efficient water systems can soften their blow. Drought demands conservation, drip irrigation, drought-resistant crops, and policies to protect groundwater. On a global scale, cutting emissions slows the warming that fuels these extremes, while reforestation and sustainable land use restore the Earth's resilience. These efforts, like the weather itself, are a collective dance, blending science, policy, and human will. As you rest, picture a sun-scorched plain, the air shimmering with heat, or a riverbed cracked under a rainless sky. Feel the weight of a heatwave's embrace, the stillness of a drought's quiet rain. These are not mere absences, but stories of an atmosphere stretched taut, seeking balance in a warming world. Let their slow rhythm lull you, a reminder that even in stillness, the sky speaks of resilience, of change, of a planet forever reshaping itself in the silent heat of summer's breath. Drift softly, dear wanderer, as we float into a realm where the sky becomes a canvas, painted with light and water in fleeting, radiant displays. These are the atmosphere's optical wonders: rainbows, halos, sundogs, light pillars, and green flashes, each a delicate interplay of sunlight and the sky's tiniest elements. No roaring storms or creeping fog here, only moments of ethereal beauty that catch the breath and spark the imagination. Let's glide through this gallery of light, where the heavens weave colors and shapes that feel like whispers from the cosmos. Rainbows, those iconic arcs of color, are nature's most celebrated masterpiece. They form when sunlight pierces raindrops, bending and splitting into a spectrum: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Each drop acts as a prism, refracting light inward, reflecting it off its inner surface, and sending it back to your eyes at a precise 42-degree angle for red, slightly sharper for violet. You see a rainbow when millions of drops align, their colors banding across the sky, always opposite the sun. Stand with the sun at your back, rain falling ahead, and a rainbow may grace you, its arc a fleeting bridge between earth and sky. A second, fainter bow sometimes appears above, its colors reversed, a softer echo of the first. From an airplane, a rare, full-circle rainbow might reveal itself, a halo of light cradling the world below. Rainbows thrive in the aftermath of storms when sunlight breaks through clearing skies. Their vividness depends on the drops. Larger ones create brighter colors, while mist yields faint arcs. No pot of gold awaits at their end, for a rainbow's position shifts with your gaze, a personal gift from the atmosphere. Yet their magic lies in their ephemerality, a reminder that beauty often lingers only a moment, urging us to pause and marvel. Halos, those ghostly rings encircling the sun or moon, paint a different kind of wonder. They form when light refracts through hexagonal ice crystals high in cirrus clouds, bending at a 22-degree angle to create a luminous halo. These crystals, drifting like tiny prisms, align just so, scattering light into a soft, circular glow, sometimes pure white, sometimes tinged with red, inside and blue beyond. Halos often herald weather changes as cirrus clouds signal approaching fronts. A rarer 46-degree halo, larger and fainter, may appear when light bends through differently angled crystals, a subtle nod to the sky's complexity. Sundogs or parhelia add flair to this celestial display. These bright spots, glowing like twin suns, appear 22 degrees to the left or right of the sun, often in cold, clear skies. Ice crystals, shaped like flat plates, drift horizontally, refracting sunlight into vivid patches of color, red nearest the sun, fading to blue. On crisp winter days when cirrus or cirrostratus clouds veil the sky, sundogs flare, sometimes linked by a faint halo, like celestial bookends. Their name, from lore of sun-chasing dogs, evokes a playful charm, though their science is precise, a dance of light through frozen prisms. Light pillars, rarer still, rise like vertical beams above bright lights, street lamps, car headlights, or the low-hanging sun or moon. In frigid air, flat ice crystals flutter downward, reflecting light upward into columns that seem to pierce the heavens. Common in polar regions or icy winter nights, they create a sci-fi glow, as if the Earth is signaling the stars. These pillars, unlike halos or sundogs, rely on reflection, not refraction, their light a mirror of the source below, stretching skyward in a quiet, radiant hymn. The green flash, a fleeting emerald wink, crowns this gallery. Seen at sunrise or sunset, when the sun's disk grazes the horizon, this phenomenon occurs as the atmosphere bends light like a lens. Green wavelengths, shorter than red, refract more sharply, appearing briefly as the sun's upper edge vanishes or emerges. Clear skies, a sharp horizon, often over an ocean, and a touch of luck reveal this jewel-like flash, lasting a second or two. Sailors and skywatchers chase it, a rare reward for those who linger at dawn or dusk, a nod from the sky's prismatic edge. These optical wonders, rainbows, halos, sundogs, pillars, and flashes, are the atmosphere's love letters to light. They require no storm's drama, only the right alignment of sun, water, or ice, and a moment's attention. Each is a fleeting gift shaped by the same physics that stirs winds or rains, but dressed in colors and shapes that feel like magic. In cultures past, they were omens or divine signs. Today, we know their science, yet their beauty still enchants. A rainbow after rain, a halo before a storm, a sundog on a winter's day, they remind us the sky is alive, weaving light into stories. As you rest, picture a rainbow's arc spanning a rain-washed valley, or a sundog glowing beside a winter sun. Imagine a green flash winking over a twilight sea, or a light pillar rising like a beacon in the cold. These are the sky's quiet poems, written in prisms of water and ice, sung in hues of light. Let their fleeting beauty lull you, a reminder that even in calm, the atmosphere dances, painting the heavens with wonders that vanish as softly as they appear. Settle softly, dear wayfarer, as we embark on a grand voyage across the globe, where the sky spins 1,000 tales, each unique to its corner of the world. Weather is both universal and deeply local, a tapestry woven from the threads of latitude, terrain, and ocean, painting deserts with dust, jungles with rain, and polar expanses with frost. From monsoons to sandstorms, from Arctic blizzards to tropical downpours, the atmosphere speaks in dialects as varied as humanity itself. Let's drift through this global mosaic, where every breeze and cloud carries the spirit of its place. Imagine standing at the equator, where sunlight pours relentlessly, warming the air into a humid embrace. Here, the intertropical convergence zone, a band of low pressure, gathers warm, moist air that rises, cools, and spills as daily torrents. In places like Indonesia or the Congo, tropical rains drench lush forests, feeding rivers, and sustaining life in a cycle as old as the earth. These are the rainforest's lifeblood, where clouds burst with such regularity that the ground hums with growth, and the air feels like a warm, living breath. Shift to South Asia, where the monsoon writes an epic of water and wind. From June to September, the Indian subcontinent transforms as warm, moist air from the Indian Ocean surges inland, drawn by the land's summer heat. This air rises over mountains and plains, cooling into deluges that flood rice paddies and swell rivers. Monsoons bring life, irrigating crops, filling reservoirs, but also chaos, with floods that can reshape villages. In winter, the winds reverse, carrying dry air from land to sea, leaving the region parched until the cycle renews. This rhythmic pulse, driven by pressure and heat, is Asia's heartbeat, a story of abundance and restraint. Venture to the mid-latitudes, where North America and Europe dance with the westerlies. These winds, flowing west to east, carry storms across oceans and continents, shaped by the jet stream's capricious path. In the American Midwest, spring brings warm, moist Gulf air clashing with cold northern fronts, spawning thunderstorms and tornadoes that roar across open plains. Europe's milder winters, kissed by the Gulf Stream's warmth, see rain more often than snow, though cold snaps from Siberia can blanket the continent in frost. These regions, caught between tropical and polar air, are weather's battleground, where fronts collide and seasons shift with dramatic flair. In deserts like the Sahara or Australia's outback, the sky tells a story of scarcity. High-pressure systems dominate, sinking air and banishing clouds, leaving landscapes baked under unrelenting sun. Sandstorms born when strong winds lift dust and grit can swallow horizons, turning day to twilight. These arid realms, where rain is a rare guest, rely on distant water sources or underground aquifers, their weather a testament to the sun's dominion and the air's dryness. Yet, even here, life adapts. Cacti and camels thrive, sculpted by a climate of extremes. At the poles, the Arctic and Antarctic, the atmosphere sings a colder song. Polar air, chilled by long winters and scant sunlight, sinks in high-pressure zones, spawning easterly winds that carry bitter cold. Blizzards whip across ice fields, driven by katabatic winds tumbling off glaciers, while snow accumulates in layers that hold centuries of climate secrets. In Antarctica's McMurdo dry valleys, wind erodes rock into surreal shapes, a rare desert within a frozen world. The Arctic, warmed by ocean currents, sees more variability. Sea ice melts in summer, only to refreeze in winter's dark embrace. High altitudes, like the Andes or Himalayas, craft their own weather worlds. Air cools as it rises over mountains, wringing out moisture as snow or rain, leaving one side lush, the other a rain-shadowed desert. In Peru, the Andes peaks trap Pacific moisture, feeding Amazonian rivers, while Chile's Atacama lies parched below. Orographic lift, this mountain-driven rise, shapes local climates, creating microcosms of wet and dry within miles. Even cities with their concrete jungles bend the weather. Urban heat islands warm nights, while skyscrapers funnel winds into gusty canyons. Ocean currents, the planet's silent arteries, weave through these stories. The Gulf Stream warms Western Europe, softening winters, while the cold Humboldt Current chills South America's coast, fostering fog and fisheries. El Niño and La Niña shift these currents, redirecting rain from Australia to Peru or drying the Americas west. These oscillations ripple globally, tying distant lands in a web of cause and effect. Latitude, too, sets the stage. Equatorial heat fuels storms, mid-latitude clashes drive change, and polar chill locks the air in icy calm. This global symphony, from monsoon-soaked jungles to wind-scoured tundras, is the atmosphere's living voice. Each region's weather, shaped by sun, sea, and stone, is a chapter in Earth's story, unique yet connected. As you rest, picture the monsoon's roar in Mumbai, the Sahara's dusty veil, or the Arctic's frozen breath. Feel the planet's pulse in every gust, every drop, a reminder that the sky knows no borders, weaving a tapestry of wind and water that binds us all. Let these far-off weathers lull you, their distant songs a soft echo of a world forever in motion, forever alive. Settle gently, dear wanderer, as we drift into the intricate art of weather forecasting, where science and intuition dance to read the sky's ever-shifting moods. This is no mere glance at clouds or guess at rain. It's a symphony of data, technology, and human ingenuity, piecing together the atmosphere's whims to predict what lies beyond the horizon. From ancient sailors scanning stars to modern supercomputers crunching numbers, forecasting is humanity's attempt to glimpse the future through the lens of air, water, and wind. Let's glide through this delicate craft, where the sky's secrets are unraveled with precision and wonder. Weather forecasting begins with observation, the foundation of all that follows. Picture a network of tools, each a sentinel of the atmosphere. Weather stations, scattered across land and sea, measure temperature, pressure, humidity, and wind with unblinking diligence. Thermometers track the air's warmth, barometers gauge its weight, anemometers spin with the breeze, and hygrometers sip at moisture. Buoys bob on oceans collecting data where land is a distant dream, while ships and planes add their own notes to this global chorus. These measurements, taken hourly or even minute by minute, form the raw pulse of the planet's weather, a snapshot of now that feeds the forecast's heart. High above, weather balloons, soaring 20 miles into the stratosphere, carry radiosondes, tiny packages of sensors that beam back profiles of temperature, pressure, and humidity. Launched twice daily from hundreds of sites, they pierced the sky's layers, revealing the troposphere's secrets and the jet stream's restless path. Satellites, orbiting like celestial scribes, add a broader view, capturing infrared and visible images of clouds, storms, and ocean currents. Geostationary satellites hover 22,000 miles up, watching entire hemispheres in real time, while polar orbiting ones sweep closer, mapping the globe strip by strip. Together they track hurricanes brewing over oceans or snowstorms gathering strength, their images a vibrant canvas of the Earth's moods. Radar, with its pulsing beams, peers into the heart of storms. By sending radio waves that bounce off raindrops, snowflakes, or hail, Doppler radar maps precipitation's intensity and motion. It sees winds spiraling within a thunderstorm, hinting at tornadoes, or tracks a cold front's advance, heavy with rain. These tools, stations, balloons, satellites, radar, form a global orchestra, collecting data that flows into weather centers where the real magic begins. Enter the numerical weather model, the beating brain of modern forecasting. These are not mere guesses, but complex mathematical simulations, dividing the atmosphere into a grid of millions of points, each with values for temperature, pressure, humidity, and wind. Supercomputers, humming with calculations, solve equations rooted in physics, Newton's laws, thermodynamics, fluid dynamics, to predict how these points will shift over hours, days, or weeks. Models like the GFS, Global Forecast System, or ECMWF, European Centre for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts, churn through terabytes of data, projecting the atmosphere's dance across time. Each model is a story of what might be, refined by the latest observations to sharpen its vision. Yet the atmosphere is a fickle muse, its chaos defying perfect prediction. A butterfly's wing in Brazil may not truly cause a tornado in Texas, but small changes, mist gusts, unmeasured humidity, can ripple into errors. This is why forecasts evolve, updated as new data pours in. Ensemble forecasting adds depth, running models with slight variations to create a range of outcomes, like a choir singing harmony. If most agree, confidence grows. If they diverge, uncertainty looms. A 5-day forecast today is as accurate as a 1-day forecast was decades ago, thanks to faster computers and denser data, yet the atmosphere's whims keep humility in check. Human forecasters, the unsung poets of this craft, weave these threads together. Meteorologists blend model outputs with local knowledge, how mountains funnel winds, how coasts breed fog, to tailor predictions. They interpret radar's pulse, satellites' gaze, and the subtle signs of a shifting front, crafting forecasts for cities, farms, or flights. Short-term nowcasts predict rain in the next hour, while long-range outlooks hint at seasons ahead, guiding farmers planting crops or cities bracing for heat. Specialized forecasts warn pilots of turbulence, mariners of swells, or firefighters of wind-driven flames, each a lifeline shaped by science. Artificial intelligence, the newest player, sifts through data at speeds no human could match, spotting patterns in clouds or pressure shifts. Yet even AI bows to the atmosphere's complexity, learning from past forecasts to refine the next. And this global effort, stations, satellites, models, minds, reads the sky with ever-growing clarity, saving lives by warning of hurricanes, easing harvests with rain predictions, or guiding planes through turbulent skies. As you rest, imagine the quiet hum of a weather station, the sweep of a satellite's eye, or the meteorologist's steady hand charting tomorrow's rain. Picture the data flowing, numbers dancing, as the sky's story unfolds. Forecasting is a bridge between chaos and clarity, a human song sung to the rhythm of wind and water. Let its gentle rhythm lull you, a reminder that even in its unpredictability, the atmosphere yields its secrets to those who watch, listen, and dream of the skies to come. Settle softly, dear dreamer, as we glide into the profound narrative of climate change, where the atmosphere's quiet rhythms shift under the weight of human hands. Weather dances day to day, but climate is the deeper melody, the long arc of patterns woven over decades, centuries, and millennia. It's the backdrop against which storms rage, seasons turn, and life thrives. Yet today, that backdrop is warming, reshaping the planet in ways both subtle and stark. Let's drift through this unfolding story, where the air's ancient balance tilts, urging us to listen and act within the sky's vast embrace. Weather and climate, though kin, speak different tongues. Weather is fleeting, a rainy afternoon, a frosty dawn, a sudden gust. Climate is the average, the rhythm of temperature, rainfall and winds over 30 years or more, defining a region's character, from Sahara's arid heart to Amazon's humid pulse. It's shaped by the sun's energy, Earth's tilt, ocean currents, and the atmosphere's delicate chemistry. But now, human activity, burning fossil fuels, clearing forests, building cities, has added a new note, one that amplifies the greenhouse effect, trapping heat and warming the planet's breath. The greenhouse effect, a natural marvel, makes life possible. Sunlight warms the Earth and some heat radiates back towards space. Gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and water vapor act like a cozy blanket, absorbing and re-radiating this heat, keeping the planet 59 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than it would be otherwise. Without it, Earth would be a frozen orb, lifeless as the moon. But since the Industrial Revolution, we've thickened this blanket. Burning coal, oil, and gas releases carbon dioxide, now 50% higher than pre-industrial levels, while deforestation and agriculture add methane, a gas 25 times more potent. This enhanced blanket traps more heat, raising global temperatures by about 2 degrees Fahrenheit since the late 19th century, with more warming locked in. This warming ripples through the atmosphere's dance. Heat waves grow fiercer, lingering longer as high-pressure systems clamp down, baking cities and fields. Droughts deepen, especially in regions like the Mediterranean or southwest US, as warmer air sucks moisture from soil and rivers. When rain falls, it often comes in deluges, as a hotter atmosphere holds more water vapor, 7% more per degree Celsius, fueling floods in places like Pakistan or Germany. Storms, from hurricanes to monsoons, gain strength, their winds sharper, their rains heavier, as warm oceans feed their fury. Sea levels rise too, as melting ice caps and expanding waters encroach on coasts, threatening islands and cities from Miami to Mumbai. The poles feel this shift acutely. Arctic sea ice shrinks, warming the region 4 times faster than the global average, disrupting ecosystems and indigenous ways of life. Permafrost thaws, releasing methane that accelerates the cycle. In Antarctica, ice shelves crumble, hastening sea level rise. Even the jet stream, that high-altitude river, wobbles, locking weather patterns in place. Think prolonged heat waves or endless rain. These changes aren't distant. They're here, reshaping harvests, straining water supplies, and driving migrations as climate refugees seek safer ground. Yet climate change is not just a tale of loss, but a call to action. Mitigation, cutting emissions, is our first defense. Shifting to renewables like solar and wind, improving energy efficiency, and reforesting landscapes can slow the warming. Electric vehicles, sustainable agriculture, and carbon capture technologies add to the arsenal. Adaptation, too, is vital. Building seawalls, designing drought-resistant crops, and planning cities for heat and floods. International agreements like the Paris Accord aim for a 1.5 degrees Celsius limit, a threshold to curb the worst impacts, though current pledges fall short. Every fraction of a degree matters, softening the blow on ecosystems, economies, and lives. Nature itself offers lessons. Forests, wetlands, and oceans absorb carbon, acting as Earth's lungs. Protecting them is as crucial as cutting emissions. Indigenous knowledge, rooted in harmony with the land, guides sustainable practices, from controlled burns to water management. Technology, too, evolves. AI refines climate models, satellites track emissions, and innovations like green hydrogen promise cleaner energy. Yet the heart of change lies in collective will. Governments, communities, and individuals choosing a path toward balance. The stakes are high, but so is our capacity to act. A single person's choices, reducing waste, conserving energy, advocating for policy, ripple outward like a breeze stirring a storm. Communities retrofit homes, cities plant green roofs, and nations invest in resilience. The atmosphere, for all its vastness, is sensitive to our touch. What we've altered, we can mend, at least in part. The future isn't written, it's shaped by today's actions, from policy to personal habits, all weaving a new thread in the planet's story. As you rest, picture the Earth's breath, warm and shifting, carrying the weight of our choices. Imagine a world where forests reclaim deserts, where winds carry the hum of turbines, where the sky's balance tilts back toward harmony. Climate change is a challenge, but also a canvas, a chance to reimagine our place in the atmosphere's dance. Let this vision lull you, a reminder that the air connects us all, from polar ice to tropical rains, and that our hands, however small, hold the power to shape a cooler, kinder tomorrow woven into the sky's eternal song.